Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching
Fanboy.
Fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
I assume Tom.
All right, Jamie Kennedy, it is always a pleasure to see you. I was at your special taping over at the Rec Room in Huntington Beach. We've talked a couple of times about your other movies. We've both worked with Dave Marquez on various projects. But today we're talking about a really fun movie that you're putting out on December 1st called Don't Suck. Dude, congratulations on giving us some more laughs.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, bro. It's a labor of love.
Yeah, I do have to ask one Matt Rife question. Was this filmed before he became the TikTok sensation that he is? Because he is a very pretty man.
Yes, it was before he blew up. He didn't even have 1 million subs yet. And like I tell people, this movie's like a documentary, you know what I mean? It's like what happened in life was really happening, except, I mean, not the vampire part that I know of.
You know, well, if he remains this youthful in another 10 years, then we know he's doing something in that regard. Yeah, but
it's incredible.
Well, the fun thing with this is the fact that, like, all right, here's, you know, a comic that's been established, that's kind of on a downturn, that's ready to launch his career again. And here's this horrible hack comic that bombs at a nuclear level and turns out to be a vampire, which we're not giving anything away. Like, half of this has got to be autobiographical in the sense of that, like, well, not autobiographical, but biographical in the sense that you knew these hack comics that were just the trust fund babies willing to buy their way into the comedy scene and still being awful.
That's a new way to look at it, which I never thought of. I mean, I will say that, you know, Ethan, the character, he's not hack in the sense, he's not hack because he is a vampire, and I've never seen that angle in comedy. But the idea of having a gimmick can be considered hack. But what I do think is true, I never thought of that. That's true. There are people that what we say is cosplay as in comedy. It's like comedy is the last choice in the world before heroin, you know, a rusty needle or, you know, I mean, really, no one, if you wake up and say, I love to make people laugh, you're probably not going to be a good comic. It's the pain that fuels most people. That's why they do it. And it's the only thing they can do. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there are people, I never thought of it like that do kind of jump in and it's like, ooh, look at me. But, you know, that's interesting. But Rick is a real lifer who wrote the script. And so he loves the art of comedy, came up through the roughest of roads. So he's going to keep it as real as possible.
I love the raw aspect of that, the way especially Rick D'Elia wrote the film. And the way Rick writes it is that, yes, you guys are funny, and yes, you guys have your 5 to 10 minutes on stage where you make the world laugh and then come off. And yes, you're working each other, trying to make each other laugh, but there's that like sadness in the entertainment of each other in the green room. When it's that raw and that real, is it even more fun when you guys are playing off each other, even though you're acting and not necessarily working the crowd behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, that's all very true. You know, you do 20 minutes on a stage and you'll kill, and then you have the rest of your day. And so when you're in the green room with people, you bust balls. They bust my balls on and off camera. We bust his balls. And there's, like, you know, a lot of those things in the green room scene, like, you know, hey, fat Mike Pence and different stuff. That's all just improvising. You know what I mean? So it's true, but there is that. I'm glad you said that, because it's like the people that are bringing you joy and escape really are a little sad. You know, it shows you his home life. Pete's home life up. You know, his commitment issues. You know, he never. You know, we're in arrested development as a comedian.
Right. And then your character, Pete, is in a relationship with Stephanie, which is played by Ellen Hallman. Ellen is an incredible woman. She's done action movies. She's real fun to talk to. Her husband's also a nice guy. You know, when you get to play off each other like that and, you know, have this ensemble cast, does it almost not feel like work? Like, obviously, making a movie is serious business. You have to set to a schedule, there's a budget and everything else. But when everybody's so talented and so funny, does it almost feel like play, or does it almost feel like hanging out in that green room setting?
It's definitely play and we have fun, but it's very stressful at times. You know, we're shooting a movie like that green room scene. We started shooting at 5:30 a.m. I hate the morning. I'm not a morning person. No comedian is, and you know, it's true to life. I mean, like what I wake up when we do the radio scene. That's all real. It's like we don't really want to get up and do radio, you know, and so it's all it's so fun to do, but when we're doing it, it is because we got to meet deadlines and times and schedules and stuff. It can get tense, but we're all we know each other's, but we're all there for the same goal, so we all pitch in.
You know, there's a joke I'm not going to give away, but to me, it's far true to life, especially for you guys, where you're checking into the hotel early in the morning and the lady behind the desk goes, "Oh, you're a comic, tell me a joke." Yet no one will go to a surgeon and go, "Oh, you're a doctor, take out my spleen." You know, this happens quite often, but why does it only happen to comics and not anybody else? Like, why do they always expect you guys to be on? No one sits there and goes to George Clooney, "Oh, you're an actor, give me a soliloquy."
I talk about this. It's basically the disrespect of the art form and really the disregard for comedy and comedians in general. Like a good comedian or a great comedian, if he's making you laugh or they're making you laugh, a lot of people just say, "Oh my God, it's effortless." You know, it'll look effortless, but they don't understand all the work, the time, the muscle memory, or their technique of doing that to you. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's like when you watch an NBA player make a free throw, it looks effortless because they practice it thousands of times. So I think people disregard comedy. I mean, it's like it's the most disrespected art form in the world. I mean, people know they can play pickup basketball, but they know they're not going to be in the NBA. But somebody makes somebody laugh hard at an office party, they actually think they're funny. And some people are, but a lot aren't. You know what I mean? There's a lot of difference in making your colleagues, because of like public pressure, laugh or uncomfortability, as opposed to going into a paid audience and making them laugh, and the commitment to that lifestyle. So yeah, it comedy, it's true. It's just like, hey, be funny, clown. And that's just it. And I think comedians are more important than ever because we're the ones that have to speak truth to power, especially in this weird time we're living in.
Absolutely. What I love, besides the concept of here's a comic that's bombing but is also a vampire and has 3,000 years of life experience to share, is how this is almost like a documentary in the sense that we're in on what you guys go through. So there's this balance of making us laugh, but seeing the pressure that you're under. And it's almost like an inside joke for people that have a concept of the industry and an introduction to people that aren't familiar with what it takes to do what you guys do.
Yeah, it's true. Like any young comic should watch. I mean, everybody should watch the movie, but young comics should really watch the movie because it's true. It's like, and people should watch it because if you're interested in the world, because it is that it is. It's like it is fun, but yeah, it is. There is a lot of, you know, Patton Oswalt said it brilliantly. I saw him say this one time, and I never ever forgot it. He's like, doing comedy is like going into battle. You know, there's a lot of tension right before, and then it's like intense for this amount of time, and then it's calm again, and you wait, and then that's kind of what doing comedy is. It's a very tense moment, and then you chill again. But you have to get through that initial thing and the becoming on the stage. And then once you connect with their energy and feel them, and it's like, okay.
You know, as a comic, and I love the title "Don't Suck" because the play on words of the vampire and the fact that, you know, you don't want to suck on stage. You know, Matt's experienced something recently where they tried to cancel him for one of his jokes. They've tried to cancel you for jokes. And quite a few comics have gone through this, especially in recent years, to the point that Jerry Seinfeld, who's one of the cleanest comics ever, has offended people and won't perform at colleges. How do you guys now handle that? Do you double down and go in harder? Or is like you have to be more conscious with your words at this point? Because we saw what they tried to do to Chappelle as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, once you go after so many icons who are literally not only made their name in comedy, became Mount Rushmore comedians, and are loved, that literally are masters of the craft, you know, like Jerry and Chappelle, and how Matt is on his way to becoming that. It's like you just don't know what you're watching. It's like going to, you know, it's like going to a Motley Crue concert and, you know, watching Tommy Lee drum and him getting sweat on you, and you're like, why do you sweat on me? It's like it's just part of what this experience is. So, I mean, Jerry said it perfectly. You know, I mean, he's said so many things that stuck with me, but I personally I haven't performed in a college in 10 years. Now, part of it is just because I might have not been as hot in the last 10 years, so you don't get as many of those gigs. But for at least 12 years, I made a ton of bread in that world, and it was really much more. I never had a problem. I never got thrown out of a college, never got paid, nothing. My last gig in a college was 2014, let's say 9 years ago, and a corporate. And I've done a lot less of those. So I think that those gigs will be for people that play within that realm. And then I think that, you know, the rest of us, what do you want to do? You can make your own crowds now. So people that like you. So if it's 80 people a night, but they know what you do, they'll come and see you. So it depends. Some people double down, some people adjust. I think you have to do what's right for you. But Jerry said it perfectly. I mean, if Jerry, one of our goats, can't perform in a college, nobody can. And he also said something in a documentary when the Me Too stuff happened. He's like, well, sometimes comedians and waitresses get together. And the interviewer was like, and he's like, right. And he was like, yes, people have relationships within the community. It's like, it's normal. So I think
which
a lot
Pete
of
and
people
Stephanie do too.
Yes, exactly. It's very, very normal. Very normal for a comic to hook up with, you know, it happens all the time. Waitresses, you know, it could be club managers, it could be, you know, a fan, whatever, a normal person from Chili's, whatever. It's all types of different people. So I think we live in a world where just so many people, everyone has an opinion, and comedy is such a specific thing, and a lot of people just don't know what happens in it. Yes, can it get better? Could there be better things happening? Do we overstep bounds? Sure, but doesn't mean anyone should be canceled. Just like, okay, I'll try to be better.
You know, with Don't Suck and the stuff that you're mentioning now and that we talked about, what is it like the shooting schedule in this? Was this a 2-week shoot? Was this a month-long shoot? You know, and how were you presented the script?
Script we were doing in, like, I want to say November of 2020, we had a script read, or December. Then we were going to go and shoot in April of 2019, we had a table read. 2020, we were going to shoot. COVID happened. And then, boom. And then I was like, I don't know what's going to happen in that movie. And then, sure enough, the director came to me and he's like, dude, we got the money. And I was like, what? And it was like August of 2021. And I was like, tip my toe in again and meet people. And, you know, I was on the road, but like limited in the summer of 2021. And then And then we shot the movie. And it was like, I was the first time I was around people where I was the only guy not wearing a mask and everyone had to wear masks. And so it was like a very limited thing, but we shot for a month in Vegas. We had the run of the city. And it was awesome. But it was, it was interesting going to a Starbucks and we closed at 4 p.m. I was like, what?
Was there a particular scene in the film that you guys just kept cracking each other up that you're like, all right, we got to finish this because we got a limited amount of time with our schedule?
I think the bedroom scene where Matt was with the, I don't want to say too much, with the two girls and I'm over here because we played that like this so the camera like saw the whole thing. That was a lot of fun. Me, being frustrated and him having a good time. And I think that there's a couple scenes like that. The movie was so fun. There were days where we would laugh and other days we were just mad. That's what it is. Because some of the times when people watch my show The Experiment, they're like, how'd you not keep from laughing? I'm like, because I was angry that day. My nose was falling off, the mark wasn't paying attention. Like, the final product is great for the viewer, but sometimes it gets hell to do it. Like, some of the best scenes in Malibu's were hard to shoot because of locations and I was tired and physical pain. But so yeah, there were, but it's also a lot of intensity.
Jamie, unfortunately, we've run out of time. I can talk to you all day, man. I can't wait till the next time you're performing here in Huntington Beach so we can hang out again. I do need one of those Don't Suck hats, though. Let everybody know where we can find you on social media and then where you're going to be performing next.
Go to jamiekennedy.com for all the dates, but my next gig will be December 6th in Brea, California. Come on out.
Awesome. Jamie Kennedy, it is always a pleasure. Don't Suck comes out on Friday, December 1st. This is a great comedy, semi-documentary, although the vampire aspect is the joke on everybody. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much, man. I can't wait to hang out with you again.
Thank you, brother. H. Bizzle in the house.